In this video, we'll use some basic tools to make a simple house. First, use the Move tool to get the scale figure out of the way. His purpose is so you can judge the size of a model when you're just loosely sketching it. Next, use the Rectangle tool, and instead of loosely sketching, we're going to input numbers. The numbers show up in the measurements box, although you don't have to type them there. I've typed 15 foot, 10 foot, and that's the rectangle I get. Now I'll make a wing for this floor plan, and once again I'll type numbers. For feet, I need to type the foot symbol because the default is inches. Next, erase this line. You always want to erase lines you don't need. This wing looks a bit thick, so I'll select it and then move it back. I can eyeball it or type the precise distance that I want to move it. Now notice I'm moving it on the red axes. It's important to always model and move along parallel to the global axes. Time to give it some volume. With the Push-Pull tool, click on the plan, move it, drag it up, and then I typed 10 feet. Now, with the pencil, let's draw lines for a gable roof. See the midpoint inference that showed up, that blue dot? That means I'll start drawing at the midpoint. I'll try to match it up with the midpoint of that wing. And it doesn't look like that came out real well. So undo is always our friend, and we can undo all the way back to the beginning of the file. Let's try it again with the pencil at the midpoint inference. Hover over the other midpoint inference, slowly drag it back, and now it looks like that worked. Select and hold the Shift key down so you can add or subtract to the selections. A plus or minus sign will show up. Now with the Move tool, move those gable lines up, and again move them right along the blue axes so you know the whole thing is straight. And there's our little house. Let's put a door in it now, and again use the Rectangle tool. You can eyeball a size or look in the measurements box for some clues as to the size. I'm typing 2'8", 6'8". The rectangle snaps to that size. Then I'll select it, right click, and erase, and there's my door. Now if I want to make a window on another plane with the same head height, I'll use the tape measure. With it, I can drag a line up and click it at the height I want, and that creates a guideline. So I've made two guidelines, and now I have something to start my window on. Again, right click, erase. Now I've got a door and window. If I want to get rid of the door, or first I can delete the guidelines if I don't want them anymore, but to get rid of the door, just trace one edge of it, and that will heal the face, then erase the remaining lines. I can erase this whole face, and this gives me something to print up to use as an underlay for a hand-rendered perspective. Now I'll bring him in. Notice the on face inference. That means that his feet are on the floor. He's not levitating or stuck in the floor. And he gives me an idea of the size. Next, let's splash some color on it. At Windows, Materials, scroll through Colors, pick one, and this I accessed with the paint bucket, and click the paint bucket on the wall. The colors look different because SketchUp automatically shades all the surfaces. Now I'm going to apply some wood to the floor. And here, if I just click on the top bar, the box collapses, so I can either keep it and minimize it or just get it out of the way. Finally, there you have it, and it's a start.